Call the Palo College Board of Trustees meeting to order for March 9th, 2021. Starting at 5:09 p.m., noting technical difficulties. Palo College Board of Trustees welcomes you to our board meeting today. While our community is under public meeting restrictions and stay-at-home orders issued by state and local authorities, our board meetings will be accessible to members of the public via Zoom, telephone, YouTube live streaming. Board members will be participating from remote locations, and there will be no physical location from which members of the public may attend. Any public comments received via email up to half an hour prior to the start of the meeting will be read into the record by the meeting moderator. These temporary modifications to the public meeting law have been authorized by executive orders from the governor. Until further notice, our board meetings will be held in this manner. Our board is committed to the continued education and safety of our students, faculty, staff, and community. We thank you for your patience and understanding during this time, and we will now proceed with our meeting. So please rise, salute our flag, and repeat the do with me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, liberty, and justice.
Liberty for all.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Millian, you ready?
Yes.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Arneson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Davis,
yes,
Mr. McNeil,
Here.
Mr. Ramirez,
Here.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes, here.
Ms. Stiers,
here.
Dr. Thomas,
Here.
Mr. Dean,
Here.
Dr. Wallace,
Here.
Mr. Smith, Ms. Slagan,
Here.
Ms. Slagan,
Here.
Everybody.
All right. Moving on, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes for February 9, 2021 regular board meeting.
So moved.
I've got a motion. Entertain a second.
second,
Second.
Got a motion from Stella, a second from Stacy. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
yes,
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
All right, 5.1, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of this evening's agenda.
Move for
So
approval.
moved.
I've got a motion from Dr. Thomas, a second from
Second.
Mrs.
Stella.
Starr. Questions, comments, concern? Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
yes,
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
All right. The announcement of recusal from any agenda items. Do any board members need to recuse themselves from any agenda items this evening?
I think I may have one on 9.2. I'm not sure what area they're dealing with tonight, but on 9.2, possibly.
Dr. Thomas, you don't have anything to do with that one as far as I know.
That's what I didn't know. It didn't say on there which ones. I didn't know.
Now, this is the one from Mr. White.
Yes. Okay. Then I don't need to be recluse then.
Okay.
Your deal's done, my friend.
Okay. I thought so, but I saw it on there, so I didn't know.
All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to section number 2, the hearing of citizens on agenda items. Ms. Millian, did we have any correspondence?
no, sir, we don't.
Okay, thank you. In that case, we'll move into reports. 3.1 CTA, Richard Castillo, President.
Good evening, trustees.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just have three, okay, that's good. I just have three things to to report to you, or actually to address. First of all, you have a marathon of program reviews on the board agenda to approve tonight, and just want to point out to you the hard work that the faculty in all those divisions have put into it, all the hours, probably sleepless nights, many blood, sweat, and tears, and a few arguments here and there, you know. So they worked awfully hard over the past 4 years to bring this to you tonight. Want to say thank you and great work for the faculty on that. Second, I also like to address the departure of 2 faculty members that are on the agenda tonight. One being Dr. Eric Atkinson. He was English faculty. I was on his interview panel, and it was a joy to hire him, and it was a joy to work with him this year. The other one is Henry Rinaldi. Henry is retiring. I don't know how many years Henry has been here at the college, but I do remember him from high school days, being in the auto shop during that time. So I remember that's how long he's been contributing to this community, not just for the college, but also for the high school down the hill there. That's where he started off with his humble beginnings. And I remember George Walters a long time ago, before he left the college, telling a story of something that happened between he and Henry in the first year that George Walters was there, and that Henry was really excited that he ordered and he received a bucket of tools, a box of tools that he had been waiting so long for his auto students there, and that was back down at the high school during the ROP days. Congratulations, Henry, for your service to the college and also to the community. You're going to be missed. And the third thing I want to talk about is the hard work and the grace under pressure for all those involved with working with AP 2510. That includes myself, Sarah Frid, Dean Bijou Rahman, and Associate Dean Irma Gonzalez, and of course, Mr. William Smith, our VP, who's been working hard for this entire year trying to wrap this thing up and put it to bed. It's now been 1 year, or actually going on, 2 years working on this AP 2510 and trying to get it done. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We're getting it done, and I just want to say that working with Mr. Smith and his hard work and dedication to it, he is always on top of things. He's always looking something up. He's always willing to talk about it. Sarah Frid for her diligent analysis and research of everything that goes into that administrative policy. There have been just a couple of snags here and there that we've been able to work through. Just yesterday, I was talking. Well, I've always talked with Mr. Smith and Mrs. Frid about these issues and trying to understand what's going on, and how also since I'm the CTA president, how also the faculty on the union side fits into this whole role. And that's one of the snags that we hit on, and it's something that the committee, that the team is working through to address, and the CTA's role in shared governance in the spirit of collegiality and shared governance here at the college, along with all the constituencies. So we're hoping to come to a resolution of that, and that the CTA continues to present its views, its recommendations, its opinions to the board, to the Senate, to the administration, and to all those. Because with the faculty, there are actually many things that go into education, into the classroom. Of course, the number one top priority for any business in education, which is the reason we're all here, is for the students. And then there's the teachers. And so when we're there in the classroom with the students, business is getting done, and while everybody else is doing their job to run that ship, through the sea. So AP 2510, I hope is going to be wrapped up very soon under the great leadership of Mr. Smith on the way he's steering this. And that all does for my report. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Richard, thank
Do
you.
you have any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Castillo?
Thank you for all your hard work
Well, thank you,
and
and
all,
you're welcome. And
all
again,
those involved.
tip my hat to Mr. Smith and Miss Fred for everything they're doing, because I just sit there and say, that's a good idea. So they work awfully hard on this.
Richard, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, 3.2 Academic Senate, Sarah.
Good evening, everyone. So nice to see you again. I hope everyone has been healthy and safe and hopefully on track with their vaccinations, no problems with access. I would like to sincerely thank Richard for all his really generous remarks that he just gave. I would like to echo his comments about the hard work that have gone into the program reviews that are on the agenda tonight, and also the really, really sad news that Eric Atkinson and Henry Rinaldi are leaving us. That is, it's sad for me. So I wanted to acknowledge those things. This afternoon, the Senate had a robust agenda. We went like 2 hours straight. It was incredible. And we had a hearty discussion on a number of topics, but one of the biggest today, where we spent the most time, was talking about the changing landscape of technology usage over the past 12 years by not just faculty, but students and staff. We're all engaging with internet and technology in many more dimensions of our work lives and our personal lives. Additionally, by the end of June, we will have nearly 100% of our full-time faculty certified to teach online by completing a 100-hour or 120-hour course. And in that, we're learning all kinds of new important compliance items and quality student engagement, pedagogical techniques and strategies for online instruction. In addition to this, PVC has two big items on the horizon for online education concerns that I want to highlight today. One is the Chancellor's Office timeline for fully integrating every single community college into the California Virtual Campus Exchange system by 2023, which is like so close, 2 years away. Right now, the virtual campus is super clumsy for the student to work through, and it's difficult to integrate with multiple colleges, which was the idea for it. What the Chancellor's Office wants to do is integrate all the application aspects, the student services, so like financial aid, EOPS, Canvas, so that when students are looking to round out their student schedule with what they're enrolled in, and they can't get everything that they need, all the courses that they need from their home college, they're able to hop on the exchange with a little click, enroll in another college's online, I don't know, business course or math course or whatever, and be able to finish on time with their home school. And in order to meet this objective, it's going to take a lot of resources from our campus in a lot of different areas. And I, as always, am on the lookout for ways to partner early on for a successful outcome. So I would like to advocate for the district to work on forecasting technology and staffing and programming needs for not just faculty and educational technology needs, but student services, counseling, financial aid, admissions and records, and make sure that we're cross-referencing compliance issues with Title V, with our federal ed code, and getting on that in the very near future. The second item that I want to bring up is the February 19th Zoom call that I had with all the community colleges that have educational programs with CDCR institutions. And this meeting was specifically to discuss upcoming technological plans. The meeting was hosted by Brantley Choate, who's the Director of Rehabilitation for CDCR, like the whole state, and Shannon Swain, who's the Superintendent of Correctional Education over all the institutions. And they provided us with some really great news that I'd like to share. Number one, that as of the date of that call, February 19th, 38% of CDCR system is on phase 2, which is their own system for like their tier system. Basically, it's like them being in the red tier. And the numbers are on the decline. So it's looking like they're going to open up more and more and more, which is great news for us. And they're expecting even expedited progress through moving through their phases because they have this vaccination effort specifically for everybody that's a part of the CDCR community, not just incarcerated folks, but also everyone that works there and around that. They're projecting right now that they will have 2/3 of the CDCR population vaccinated by May. So fingers crossed for supply chain and all of that, and that will make a huge difference to everybody who's working with inmates in terms of their education. Secondly, they have a budget proposal going to, I don't know, the legislature. That's where budget proposals go. And they'll find out if it's funded June 30th, 21. And in this budget item, it is funding 37,000 laptops. And the idea is that they would have their own Wi-Fi and cloud that is locked down just for each institution. They'd have access to Microsoft Office and Abisco, which is the library search engine, and Canvas, which is our online class shell. And that can do 2 big things for our college. Number one, it could employ a much broader course offering to students through online education, especially with so many of the full-time faculty getting certified to teach in that modality. And secondly, we would have the ability for students to submit correspondence work electronically rather than routing paper through our office to the institutions, to the yards, to the proctors, to the students, and then all the way back again. So that would like revolutionize things. It would be great. There is a follow-up Zoom tentatively scheduled right now for July of this year for them to like loop us back in and let us know what's going on. But I wanted you all to know that that's, out there. And so with all of this in mind, I would like to advocate that that technology is here for, in one form or another, to stay in a new way than before COVID. And I think it's really vital that our IT team is structured appropriately to cover all of our areas of need, our existing areas that we have, and also the areas that we're looking to grow into, and accounting for the Chancellor's Office and the CDCR visions for growth. And part of that means that we need that team to be extremely knowledgeable in our compliance requirements for accreditation, for Title V, for federal ed code, so that when we are working together on developing solutions and protocols, that we're working with the same set of information and supporting each other in that. Next, I would like to say thank you for all of you who may have been involved in getting the COVID-19 rapid testing to Blythe, California, Palo Verde College. I am so thrilled and so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so very pleased that we have this access so that we can safely and responsibly continue to provide good service to our community. I'm also really pleased that we had 2 very successful vaccination efforts here in Blythe. I don't know how many of you may have been involved in that, but I'm so grateful. And as we approach the anniversary of the governor's state of emergency of March 2019 and subsequent shutdown, lockdown, quarantine, however you want to say it, the new guidance on vaccines from the CDCR seems like an incredible indulgence almost, and an incredible sense of freedom. I hope that we continue to get good news and that the more infectious variants of COVID-19 don't roll back the new recommendations. And that's what I have for this evening. Thank you so much. I'm happy to field questions or comments, whatever you have for me. Let me know.
Questions or comments for Sarah?
Thank you for all your hard work, Ms. Freed. You always gave a full report, very informative and just due diligence. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Sarah, thank you very much. Moving right along, CSEA Chapter 180, Richard Soto or his designee. All right, having none. Associate Student Body Government, Jared Dean.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
How you doing, Jared?
Good. So we had the what's it called? Sorry, I'm blanking. The last Friday on February 19th, we had the Pirates Chest at the Blythe Food Pantry, and that was a success. Multiple students came out, and we eventually opened it up to the members of the community for the last few minutes, and that was a success. And also members of the officers of the ASG will be attending the California Student State, or the State Senate for California Community Colleges. And we're going to start participating in those meetings that they have over Zoom for all the community colleges in California, which will be really fun to participate in, seeing all the different students. And other than that, that's it for my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Questions or comments for Mr. Dean? Hearing none. Jared, appreciate it. Thank you. Dr. Wallace, President Superintendent.
Alrighty, I'm going to try to share my screen. I'm not exactly sure how well this is going to work because it goes full screen when I bring it up, but let's see if it'll even come up. There we go. Is that showing up?
Yes.
Yep.
So I wanted to just share a few updates of things that have been going on. One, our basketball team has been really traveling. I got this word today that so far this season, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they started traveling back in January, but Palo Verde basketball has traveled over 2,000 miles, played 7 road games, and it says in a 40-hour work week, but I'm not exactly sure what that means. Maybe he means it wasn't the same week, I'm pretty sure. So maybe without exceeding a 40-hour work week. So thought that was interesting. I don't believe we have a women's basketball team yet, but I do have a couple of images from last year. Our men's basketball team is essentially the same. And I did have this shot from last year, which I wanted to show because it's one of my favorite. We call the money shot. This was our women's team last year. They were pretty hot. Oops. Let me back that up just a second. That's the money shot right there.
Nice.
I think that's worth looking at again, don't you, Stella?
Yeah.
Let me
I'm
see.
following it.
I keep going to the CDC, but hold on a second. Let me see here. And it had some audio on it at one time. Let me see if I can make the audio come on. Here we go. Some of you may have been in that at that game. I know I was, and it was pretty darn exciting. But we're excited about that, and you know, we're not 7-0. We're maybe 1-6 right now, but we've played some pretty tough teams out there. Talk about the Child Development Center. We are, as most of you know, in the process of designing a new Child Development Center. And this is Eduardo Garcia. I know some of you know him. If you know him, you call him Eddie Garcia. He's the assembly member for our area here. This is not our CDC, but we're going to have one pretty like that when we get done. This is not the one. This is just a stock image here. But Assemblymember Garcia gave us $1 million last year toward this project, and he is going back to the legislature for $3 million to finish this project. So that'll be a total amount of
Wow.
4.5 million, including a grant that we received. And that should be plenty to really, really make a beautiful facility over on the new property. We have a groundbreaking ceremony scheduled for May 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Stephanie can always chime in when I say the wrong thing. So it's tentatively scheduled for May 8th. We hope to have Assemblymember Garcia and others there for the groundbreaking ceremony. Again, this is not our building, but I love the picture because it just tells me we're going to have a beautiful facility when we get done. We're going to have a nice new playground for our kids. We're going to have, I think, 4 classrooms starting out. We have enough capacity for 80 students in that new facility. And there will be a community room. Our nursing program, I sent out something on that. Let me get the date on that here. I guess February 17th, we received word that the California Board of Registered Nursing had approved for us to move forward with our feasibility study. A lot of work went into that point. And so now we have to do our self-study, I guess it is. The feasibility study was accepted, and we now have to do the self-study, which is well underway. And we just have to thank everybody involved. Dr. Seaside for getting it going, Dr. Becker for picking it up and keeping it, moving it forward, and all of our nursing staff and consultants and everybody who's been working on that program. And we are very excited about it. I think it'd be a great thing for our community. Measure P, we're winding up the remodel projects. We have a little bit left to do at this beautiful needle center.
Beautiful.
And we talked about some sort of a dedication. We don't have a date for that just yet. This is the new assembly member up at that handles the needle center, Thurston Smith. We had a meeting with him, I believe it was last week. And we let him know the things that we're needing up there to make the needle center become more what we need it to be. One of those things is that we talked to him about some legislation, which he would help us with, because we are contingent with Arizona and Nevada up there at the Needle Center. We need to find a way to make it easier for us to reach into those 2 states and bring students across that border. Right now it's difficult because the Arizona, for example, their in-state rate is, I think, $86 a unit. For them to come to our side and take our nursing or welding or automotive or any of those courses, they have to pay $138. So we know that Lake Tahoe has some sort of legislation because they also are contingent with Nevada. And we've talked to Assemblymember Smith about helping with that. He's very interested in that. Assemblymember Smith comes from the construction background, had his own concrete business before he became a politician. And he is very excited about helping with these CTE programs. Also, he has a lot of inroads into the tribal communities up there. And we know that they want to take our courses. We want them to take our courses. And so I think having this legislative arm to help us enter those communities and develop those communities and then allow them to have a rate that they can afford to come over and take classes from us. And then we're developing all these programs. We have welding going. We have automotive going up there, I do believe. Culinary arts is on the drawing board. Building construction trades is something we need to get up there. Nursing, CNA, LVN, even the RN programs that we need to try to figure a way to provide to those tribal communities and others around the Needle Center. And of course, the emergency medical technician. And we're looking forward to graduation 2021. We are planning for graduation on June 5th, which is the date that it normally is scheduled to be. On the right-hand side, you see what we're planning for. That's a Photoshop image there, but we're planning for a drive-through graduation because we have no idea if by June 5th, if the state is going to allow us to have anything more than that. We're pretty sure we'll have that because we had that last year. We think that planning for a drive-through graduation where we have them walk across our stage like we did last year, if by June 5th or, before that, we find out that we can have some form of in-person, it's easy for us to put chairs down and have some form of in-person. It's just hard to do it the other way. Last year we tried to do it the other way and it was a disaster. And so this year we're planning a little bit different. So anyway, those are my reports for today. And then I open up for my vice presidents to correct any of the misinformation I just put out.
Thank you.
Dr. Wallace, thank you very much.
Let me find a way to stop sharing here. Just a second. There we go.
All right. Hey, question, comments, or concerns for Dr. Wallace? All right. Hearing none. Interim Vice President of Instruction Student Services, Mr. Smith. Willie.
First off, I could thank Richard for all the compliments. I'm just overwhelmed by all that. It's unbelievable. Probably about 3 or 4 months ago, I went to Dr. Wallace and said, I'm going to take on this 2510 operation that's been pending for like 2 years. And it's been quite an interesting task. The team we have gone round and round. For example, we spent 2 weeks ago, 45 minutes on one verb. It's like absolutely insane. And if anybody knows my personality, for me to spend 45 minutes on a verb is pretty close to insanity. So hopefully, as Richard says, I hope we can wrap this thing up soon and put it to bed so you guys can approve it. Some other things, Bijou, if you look at his report, I believe you got a copy of his report. He sent 14 certificate programs for approval in an AS degree. Did it through the CT Advisory Committee. And then in his note at the bottom, he said his next step was to take it to the Inland Empire Desert Regional Consortium, which he did. And that was a great accomplishment to get all those regional deans, and he got approval. So it's a very competitive little arena. If you ever been into, well, some of you haven't, but gone to the regional consortium to be able to get your programs through. So that's quite a task. Maria Kale's been working on scheduling as usual. She just completed our summer schedule. And as most of you know, we have been working on a 2-year schedule. It's going to be our first time getting that out. And we have that scheduled for completion by March 26th. We keep running across all these bumps in the road because of COVID. It's one thing after the other, but we've decided this last meeting, we're going to forge ahead and continue so we can prevail in this accomplishment. Machi has talked about in her report about Zoom meeting with mental health for mental health therapists to provide counseling for our students and families, which I think in these COVID times, there's a lot of things going on with our kids not being able to attend school, participate in school activities. As you know, depression is up for our students. Suicide is up. It's really, really difficult to be a kid coming up and growing up in these COVID times. I'm glad that I didn't have to do that. To dovetail on to Dr. Wallace's comment on the basketball team and talking about the distance of traveling, our basketball team last week traveled to the College of Sequoias, which is about a 6-hour drive. So they played 2 games, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. And the College of Sequoias were so interested in playing us, they paid for our transportation. They also they housed our players, and they also paid for our fuel to get there. So bottom line, it really didn't cost us anything. And our team, and we got to play ball.
Good.
Accreditation Task Force has been meeting. As you know, our report for our follow-up report is due on October 1. We're looking for that, for us to get a written report completed by the end of July. And so it can go before the board, first and second reading before they meet. And as it's been pointed out by Richard and Sarah, that the program reviews, you'll see the list of program review presentations for this evening is quite long, but in order to accomplish that task and meet our accreditation, we need to, the accreditation team is making sure that we get these things accomplished and show the accreditation team that we have worked and accomplished what they requested of us. Irma, Jacqueline, and Esmeralda Lopez have been working on Puente. And on your board packet, there's a little note, definition, I believe, a little description about what Puente is. And so we're moving forward with that. And finally, Irma and Jacqueline have been traveling about in our local community, assessing or evaluating our billboards and determining what our next move is and what we're going to display on those. I don't think I have anything further, Mr. President, unless you have questions.
Willie, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Smith? Hearing none. Willie, thanks again. Appreciate it. All right, 3.7, Vice President of Administrative Services, Stephanie Slagan. Stephanie?
So this month we are currently continuing the project in Needles Center. We're hoping for a completion date from about a month from now. We also got approval from DSA for the counseling center. So we are currently going to go out to bid for that and should bring that completed bid to you for the May 11th meeting. Our cash flow remains good. Like I stated before, we've received all of our funds through January. So now we're not going to start receiving those deferred payments. We won't be receiving hardly any cash until starting in July. So as you see from the cash flow analysis that is in the information items, we went from an ending balance, cash flow balance of 15.5 million to 14.3 million. Again, we're still in a very good financial position. We have cash on hand. We're not expecting to borrow funds from ourselves, and we're not expected to borrow funds from a trans loan. Also, we received our P1 allocation. That's the first principal apportionment. We have a net increase of 591,000. That is also on the agenda tonight. And that will get a little bit of additional funding and state apportionment for this year. Our recalc from last year reduces that apportionment by about 190,000, and then some categorical programs are seeing increases and decreases. Those are pretty minor. We continue at the college to use our safe reopening plan to help guide us. The numbers from Riverside County are really looking encouraging. Week after week, they've been reducing. This week's numbers came out. We are, as a county, at 7.8% or 7.8 cases per 100,000, but that has been adjusted up to 8.3 cases per 100,000 because the testing in Riverside County is lower. So in order to get a better number, you have to increase your testing. There is a new metric going to be coming out that was posted on the Blueprint from California's website. And that is going to be the vaccine equity metric. So once testing or once vaccinations have reached a certain threshold, they will start initiating this vaccine equity metric. And that will allow us to adjust the cases per 100,000. So right now, to get into the lower tier, you have to be about 7 cases per 100,000. This vaccine equity metric could make it so that we are adjusts it up to 8 cases per 100,000, or even up to 10 cases per 100,000. So as the vaccines roll out, you'll see more things opening up, but hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we'll be in the substantial tier. Other than that, we have an RFP out right now for a new auditor. Our auditor has done as many, or has our auditors have exceeded the maximum, well, not exceeded, come to the maximum number of years that they can serve as auditor. I believe that's 7 years. Every 7 years, you have to go out for RFP and get a new auditor. So we're hoping that we'll bring the new auditor or the auditing contract to you next board meeting. But that is all I have for now. If you have any questions.
Have any questions for Stephanie?
Thank you, Stephanie.
Hearing none, Stephanie, thank you very much. All right, 3.8, Lolly, Dean of the Needle Center.
Good evening, everybody. It's very good to see you all. I've attached my report, and I really don't have that much more to add to what I've listed in my report. As Dr. Wallace reported, we did have a very good meeting with Assemblymember Smith, and it was nice to know that he's very familiar with the Needles area and with some of the key players in Needles. So I think that it's going to be a good working relationship. He's very education oriented, and like Dr. Wallace said, very much in the CTE vocational education orientation because of his background. So that was a very uplifting meeting. In addition to that, Stephanie mentioned the construction. All I can say to that is I know they're working very hard because we all have to close our doors because of the noise that's happening up in the mezzanine. So that's a good sign. And we look forward to its completion so that we can start working on looking at what our equipment needs are going to be and what our program requirements are going to be in terms of certifications and accreditations for the different allied health programs that we want to bring up here. So all in all, there's a lot of work coming up, and it's very exciting. And that's all I have. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Lolly?
Thank you.
Hearing none, Lolly, thank you very much. All right, that brings us to the Board of Trustees, and we'll start tonight with Board Member at Large, Dr. Thomas.
Thank you. I don't have very much except that I thank the faculty member and staff members that are leaving us, whether it's for going other places or for retirement, for their dedication and their service to the college and to the community, and wish them full speed ahead, so to speak. And also thank all of the staff, the faculty, the administrators, for all the hard work they're doing in order to keep things going and to be of service to the college under very, what you would say, adverse circumstances. You're doing a great job, and like we just keep on. And sometimes it's nice if some of the board members will let you know that how they feel about it. And so, good job to everyone. Let's just keep working together, because together we can accomplish anything we want to accomplish. Thank you.
George, thank you. Angel Ramirez.
I just thank everybody for all the hard work they're doing, and congratulations for those that are retiring, and well deserved, and enjoy it. That's about it.
All right, thank you. Dave Rehnquist.
I don't have a whole lot to speak about except just to keep on working.
Stacy.
Hi. So I wanted to thank those of you when we were out there at the pantry, the students, I don't know which one, I don't know their names, but it was that was like the highlight of my week. Watching everybody working together, it almost felt like normal. You know, sometimes with everything's been going on, we haven't been able to be normal. And I was so overjoyed from the young woman was helping us, you know, package food up and hand it out. It was my honor I wanted to give that to the students. I remember being a college student, and sometimes that meal was, it was priceless. And so I wanted to be a part of something that we were servicing our students. And so Ms. Jacqueline had allowed me to be honored to do that. But I wanted to thank those students and the faculty they were all there. And, you know, I remember them from being at the college. And so they were all just as loving as I know them to be. And I promise you, having a positive atmosphere among the workers, it makes it that much more delightful. I mean, I was talking about it to my friends and family and saying, you know what, college has a group of staff and faculty that are just outstanding. And it's very honorable to be a part of something like that. So I wanted to thank everybody for that day, that it made my week. It encouraged me that much more. I love students, you know, I'm still finishing up my PhD. And so education is top priority for me. And so I know what it feels like to be, you know, we all know what it feels like to be there. And so I'm so very grateful for everybody's help. And I just want to tell you, thank you. And also, Don, I wasn't sure if or not there was a graduation. I think that it was wonderful seeing those pictures as the virtual how it would act. But if there was something that was ongoing, I think having the input on that, if we have opportunity to, I would like to be, that's stuff that I like to do as well. And so just keep me informed on that. And so thank you very much for those reports.
All right. Thank you. Jim.
Do we have it, Jim?
John, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I was rolling through, I was writing notes quick, and
That's fine. It's difficult because it doesn't have an H in it, and it's difficult because people read it usually as Tom. That's fine.
I did that once too.
Yeah, it's okay. Just don't call me late for dinner, right? As quickly as I can. I did a lot of this work previously, and my hat's really off to Willie Smith for that 2510 work and the enormous projects of the accreditation. I spent a year at CTC doing college accreditations, and I have a clue what a massive report that is and how involved that is. And I also had done a number of accreditations, so I'm aware of how difficult it is to move a faculty. And that story you told about the verb, I laughed so hard I almost started to cry, because I've been in that room before. And so my heart goes out to you. I'm retired, so I'm really happy about that. What an amazing program review you guys have done. You've crushed out a ton of work in a very, very short time. Sarah Frieda, congratulations to you for the support that you have done that. I spent my last 10 years being a CBO, so Stephanie Slagan, I bet you've had sleepless nights. You keep saying, we're in a really great financial position. We're in a really great financial position. And we are, thank you. And I do know that it's an amazing pressure on you. And my hat's really off to to Don for running. It's not even 3 rings. You got like 6 or 8 rings going on up there, and you're just a terrific ringmaster, and you're so calm. So saying how grateful I am to everybody's work, and not knowing the retirees, but saying that appreciative of the dedicated service that they provided the college, and what a terrific college this is. And I'm so looking forward to coming down and walking around it. Thank you.
Right. John, thank you. And once again, sorry about misspelling your name and then saying it. All right, Stella, Ms. Dyers.
Just a few things. I just want to thank the Palo Verde College Pirates chefs. I think it was Alejandro that did some video. I saw Willie Smith there and students. I didn't get to see you, Stacy, but thank you. I think it's great to distribute food to our students, and even more so to offer it to our communities, to our community, the members in our community. It's great. Also, thank you for all the hard work that's gone into this program review. It was a lot of reading for us as well. So I can only imagine. And all the, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Smith and Ms. Freed and Castillo and Irma, thank you for the AP 2510. I'm kind of sad to hear that Mr. Rinaldi is leaving. I knew that he wanted to retire, but I didn't know it was going to be this short notice. Also, I was very sad to hear Mr. Lamar left. Lamar's my neighbor, and he's a terrific guy. And Henry has been in our community forever. I look at that building and I think of Henry. Kind of emotional, but I wish everyone well. And I'll let it go at that. Thank you.
So thank you. I'd like to, for my little portion here, I'd like to mirror many of the comments. I'd like to thank the number of people for the outstanding amount of work that went into those projects. Not just the reviews we're coming up to on the agenda, but also the 2510, just a massive amount of work, as well as the accreditation. So I'd like to acknowledge and thank you for that. I'd like to acknowledge the careers of those that have that were retiring this evening. So, in having said that, we'll move right along to the program reviews. 4.1, Adrian Casillas for the Alcohol and Drug Studies CTE full program review, fall 2014 through spring 2020.
Move to approve.
Is Adrian here?
I don't believe he's in the meeting.
Okay. Well, all right. Does everyone have a chance to read his report then?
Yes.
Okay. It was a lot of reading with this agenda. In that case, we'll have his reports down on paper, and we'll move right along to 4.2 nursing CT updates for fall 16 to spring 18. Derek Koppel.
Hey, good evening, board. And just before I get started, I would just echo what everybody else has been saying tonight, and all the positivity going on our campus and our leadership, and the leadership of Mr. Smith and Mr. Rahman and Dr. Wallace, Sarah Fred, and others. We're all one big team right now, working really hard to get everything done. Moving on to my report, this is a catch up and from 2016 to 2018. So when I talk about a few things, remember this was in the 2016-2018 timeframe. Next month, I believe you will have the full. I'm submitting our full program review for 2016 and 2020. It actually is going to committee Thursday, and so you guys should see that one next month, and we will be all caught up for nursing and allied health, and that will have a lot of good things in it. In 2016, 2018, was actually a positive time period for us. If you recall the last report that I did, that was during our kind of our rough time. And we had a lot of critical changes, and state came in and we had some deficiencies that we had to work on. During the 2016-2018, we developed a new conceptual framework, which was lacking. We developed a new instructional plan. Our plan, the state, the BVNPT had noticed that it was a little out of date and not current. And we got that up to date, and we were able to institute a new instructional plan. We also had some issues with evaluation system for classroom curriculum instruction, and new forms were developed and new documentation system was instated. There was issues at the time in this because it comes into play different people evaluate faculty which were different than what was in the contract. And we worked out that, and we were able to work that out and get that going. And so now the associate dean is regularly doing those assessments, and they're going really well.
Good.
Also, there was no director of nursing at that time. We had a long period of time where we didn't have a director, and of course, as you know, that's a violation. And but at the same time, we weren't the only one. There's a lot of colleges that are going long periods of time without directors of nursing. It's finding nursing faculty and directors of nursing in programs very difficult. But we were able to find someone, so we fixed that deficiency. We hired Dr. Virginia Armstrong. She was here for a short period of time. She got things going, and we were able to get through some things. Also, we were having department meetings, but they weren't really being recorded. So we found a way to make sure that they were formalized and documented. New grading policy was put into place. All students are graded. They have to make a 75% or they can't move on in our program. And we also had fallen below the 10% threshold for state testing. At the time, when this was finished in 2018, our pass rate is 90%. And I will note that even though it doesn't have any bearing on the 2018, we are currently at 100% pass rate in our VN class. So that is a huge accomplishment. Demand for the program, I think everybody in here, it goes without saying. I don't think I need to go over any numbers. We know that healthcare is in demand. And so those, our programs are going to be constantly in demand. Our quality of our program, we have students that are coming from, El Centro, Brawley, Imperial, Indio. So that speaks for itself as far as coming for our CNA phlebotomy program and even our LVN program. When they're coming from other areas, it tells you we're doing something right. We still are dealing with some external issues. Selection sites of clinical sites and things like that, but we've worked on that. Student expenses for travel and gas, and hopefully this, and especially with COVID, students have not been able to get any fundraising going, so that's going to affect us in the next program review. We have good retention of our students once they get in, and as I've said, I will reiterate, our pass rates have continuously improved, and we're well on our way to being a very, very, very popular and successful nursing department. And I think with the addition of the RN program in a couple of years, in addition to our programs we already have, it's going to look pretty stellar up at PVC. And that's all I really have to say. It was an update. Unless anybody has any questions, I appreciate your time.
Any questions for Derek and Mr. Koppel?
Thank you, Mr. Koppel.
Derek, thank you very much. A whole lot of work.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
All right. 4.3 automotive technologies. CTE update for fall 18 through spring 20. Henry, Mr. Rinaldi.
Hello, everybody. I want to introduce myself. I'm Henry Rinaldi, for those who don't know me. And this will complete 19 years for me.
Oh, man.
I've been told that everyone has a copy of the program review.
Yep.
And the president, he asked me to set the example, so I'm going to show you guys how this is done real quick.
Thank you, Henry.
The automotive program enrollment is still strong. We have 90 to 95% high school students still. And with COVID hitting us, I haven't had any students for a whole year now. So since there's been no face-to-face, we had to convert all our classes to hybrid, which we were able to do to accommodate the students. We're hoping to have actually face-to-face students before this semester ends. I know the Unified is trying to push it, and I'd like to see them before I leave too. So hopefully before this year ends, we might be able to see them up here on campus again. That'd be really nice. A little bit on that. We have 4 charging stations that's been installed at the college there. We have purchased 2 electric vehicles since the last program review. We will be ordering 3 more electric vehicles. And ASC's testing is getting closer. I have turned it over to the IT department, and they will be installing it on the computers for the proctors to start administrating the ASC's exams soon. And as you do well know, I will be retiring in June. So hopefully, this will be my last program review. That's if you guys sign the paperwork, I guess, huh? Hopefully it gets approved. And also thank you everyone for the nice, kind words. And any questions for me?
You're going to be missed, Henry.
Thank you.
Hearing no questions, just a quick comment. Henry, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henry.
19 years.
How was that, Mr. Wallace? Is that good enough?
You set the bar pretty high, my friend.
There you go, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. Moving right along, 4.4 welding technology for fall 18 through spring 20. Michael Calabrese.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go over the 2018 to 2020 program review. I wasn't here at this time, so it was completed. Well, Joe was here at this time, so I'm going to try to do the best I can. The program still offers an associate science degree and a certificate in welding, along with the certificate in career prep. Also going along, the demand for the program is still there. There's going to be almost 10,000 job openings in the next 5 years in the Imperial region. And there's going to be, I read an article where there's going to be over 300,000 jobs, openings for welders in 2000 from now to 2023 in this American Welding Society article I read. Revenue and expenses, the program has generated 175.63 FTEs, which is a little over $800,000. We're still profitable. And the next 2 years, the 2-year plan is to still pursue high school student enrollment and transportation for these students. So this, I guess the students could be bused up from the high school to take our classes, because most, like Henry said, about 95% of our students is from the high school. And is there any questions?
Good job, Michael.
Thank you.
Hearing no questions, Michael, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Hi.
Thank you.
All right. We are at 4.5 fire science technology full program review fall 2012 through 2020. Brian.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone, members of the Board of Trustees. Just for the record, my name is Brian Tieba, a faculty member at Palo Verde College. I teach English and business at the college. although the subject I'm going to discuss has nothing to do with English or business, it's fire science. This is a rather different kind of program than you might have been accustomed to at Palo Verde, in the sense that in several ways. One way is that the courses in fire science are actually not taught by Palo Verde College faculty. They're taught by other faculty members under our auspices at Palo Verde College, but they're taught by way of an instructional services agreement that we have with another agency called the IEC, or Industrial Emergency Council. And they specialize in fire science and related types of courses. IEC, with which we've had a relationship for at least 20 years, probably more, basically develops courses for firefighters and hires faculty, part-time faculty, to teach firefighters various methods and techniques of fighting fires, and as well as background information about fire science. And so my role specifically, is to work with the IEC, look at the curriculum that they're proposing to teach, and make sure it squares with our requirements for our course outlines of record. And you probably know, the members of the board have looked at fire science, looked at all kinds of course outlines, including many FST or fire science course outlines. And they look just like regular courses that we teach, except they're based on curriculum developed by a state agency called the Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. And so we make sure that the required curriculum by that state agency for firefighters squares with our own curriculum requirements. All the course outlines are approved by our curriculum committee. They contain SLOs. They're evaluated by their own faculty, assessed by the faculty. The faculty themselves are evaluated as well. So it's just like an extension of Palo Verde College, except that it's done sort of remote. And the audience is primarily consists of firefighters who are employed working for state or local agency, county or city firefighting agencies. The benefit of the program to us is that it obviously provides an excellent service, but we derive with a fee. We have a fee agreement, fee arrangement with the IEC. So we benefit some benefit from fees, but we also derive FTES. And my understanding is that we have as much as a quarter of our own FTES at Palo Verde, which is about roughly 2,000, is attributable to fire science courses that we offer. So it's a little different kind of program. You also may take note that we don't offer a lot of degrees, although we do have a degree program. It's the Hazardous Materials Specialist, an AS degree, and a couple of certificates. So the real heart and soul of the program is not so much in the degrees and certificates, although we have them, but rather in the courses that we offer to the firefighters. And those courses are usually offered over the weekends, very short term, very compressed courses, maybe 10 or 12 hours a day in training. Of course, it's been a very, very successful program, both for us as well as for IEC. As far as goals for the future, IEC would like to see if they can offer more courses online and correspondence. It's a sign of the times. Majority of the courses they offer are hands-on type courses, rescuing people, putting out fires, so on and so forth. But there is a little bit of theory, and those courses could be delivered on a correspondence or online mode. The IEC is also, with our assistance, is looking at the programs themselves to possibly broaden them so that they would be more attractive to others to complete degrees. And lastly, they are maintaining an ongoing effort to upgrade and all the course outlines of record to make sure they're current, that they're consistent with our policies and requirements, and that they deliver the best for their own students. So that is my report. Happy to answer questions if I can. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Brian? Hearing none. Brian, good to see you, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. 4.6, computer information systems. CT update from fall 2018 to spring 2020. Scott Peterson, Mr. Peterson.
Well, thank you everyone for allowing us to present. I'm going to make this quick, but I do want to say a little bit about one of our faculty members that we are losing. I've taught with Henry for all 19 years. Many of those years, he shared a door with me. Our classrooms were connected, and he has impacted thousands of people in our community. And that's something that I know I'm going to miss him. I know it's a big loss to career technical education in our community. And I just want to make sure that I thank him for all his service and all the years of hard work that he's put in. Real quick about my program. I'm sure you guys, like Henry had mentioned, you've already gone through it, but during the time of this review, the CIS program has 6 certificates, 1 associate degree. We had a lot of students who completed certificates even during this pandemic. We have formulated a CTE calendar that mirrors the Unified School District calendar, and we follow that so that the number of days that we are out for the college's spring break and for other holidays is very minimal because we're mirroring their schedule and their calendar. We, like Mr. Rinaldi mentioned, all of our courses, we've brought them through curriculum to be approved for hybrid learning. We have been anticipating a return to campus, and we plan on returning here hopefully in the near future to actually teach the face-to-face stuff that we love doing with our students on campus. I still have probably about 60 to 70% of my enrollment is high school. I have received a donation from a company called Maxons, and they make a software package called Cinema 4D. It's a animation software, roughly runs $4,000 per computer. And we've got that donated for all of our students and for our labs. So that's been something that we've really appreciated because this is software that is used in the professional industry. We're currently looking at implementing remote access software so that my students from home, because most of our students, the high school students in particular, are using Chromebooks that were passed out by the Unified School District. So they're unable to install programs. It's an Android-based operating system, so they're not able to use a lot of the a lot of the Microsoft or the Apple type application programs. So this remote access software would allow my students to, through a browser, access my computers in my lab and then utilize all the software that is installed on these powerful machines. So this is one way that we're working on being able to address remote learning. I think I'm gonna stop there. I've talked long enough. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Any questions for Scott on computer information systems? All right, Scott, thank you very much. Stand by. We'll move on to 4.7, professional technology program review, annual snapshot. All right, we're gonna roll on with the snapshot from there. And
you want me to discuss the professional technology snapshot? Is that what I missed?
Just a quick brief, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so our budgets look good, our enrollment's good. We've addressed some issues that we might need in the future in terms of technology. I believe for the building trades, he's requesting a overhead projector, something that he will want to utilize for his instruction. Down the road, my department will need to replace printers and some other minor technology issues. But other than that, our numbers look good. Our completion rates are good. The enrollment's good.
Okay. All right, as far as the snapshot go, any questions for Scott?
Scott,
Thank you.
Scott,
Yeah.
who caught the fish?
That would be my daughter.
Just curious.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Thomas.
Yeah, not me.
All right, 4.08, history, social behavior sciences program review snapshot for August 2020. That'd be Timothy Bolin. Mr. Bolin, Timothy.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, it'll be brief. As far as completion rates, we've been pretty steady for the past few years. And I think the main thing I'd like to point out is we've new faculty. So we've got the new alcohol drug studies instructor who's really helped the program, with the new sociology instructor, myself. And also we just got a new child development instructor who, Dana, who used to run the Child Development Center, is now the full-time faculty. So as far as looking ahead, we may be starting to think about looking for ethnic studies instructors, since the ethnic studies requirements kind of coming down the coming up in the future. But besides faculty and all that, I think that's about all we have for the division as far as an update goes.
Questions for Mr. Bolin? Hearing none. Tim, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. And Mr. Martinez, you all set?
Yes, sir.
All right, Peter, you're the next 4 agenda items. Let's go with 4.9.
Okay, thank you so very much, Mr. Arneson and members of the board and invited guests. Thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about our program, and this is in regards to the business division. We have 3 full report or reviews that we did put together for this evening, just hot off the press. We have the Associates of Science Business Management, CTE program. And again, it was a full review. Under that umbrella, we have 4 certificates, which is the Business Management Certificate of Achievement, Business Literacy Certificate, Career Prep, and Small Business Management Certificate Career Preparation, Personal Finance Certificate of Career Preparation. And then, of course, we have the Associate of Science Business and Technology, another CTE program. And then, of course, the last full review that we provided you for this evening for tonight's venue is the AST Business Administration for Transfer. Now, I'd like to just note that under the 3 programs that I just mentioned, there's a lot of consistency there, so I don't have to go on each one of them, so I won't take a lot of your time. So I condensed my report from 1 hour and 22 minutes and 17 seconds down to 3 additional minutes. That's it. I mean, cutting it down to 3 minutes. So hopefully that'll suffice. I can share with you briefly that from the snapshot, the projections that were put together by the division and the data that surrounds the projections is that males tended to had completion rates at a 6.3% better than females in terms of the gap and for males versus females was at 20% in terms of higher numbers. We had more males than females. Evidently, as most of you know, as well, is that most of our participants or students in our programs are through a correspondence modality. Also moving forward, I'd like to share with you that in part of our snapshot discussions is strengthening and building a entrepreneurship program that will take into consideration not only into the feeder schools, but also in the community, local businesses, and from the private and the public sector. We want to build something that will take a lot of momentum and build that relationship here on campus with other departments as well. As I mentioned a minutes ago, is that our correspondence numbers are a lot higher than our face-to-face or even our online classes. Our faculty members in our division are, as well as our part-timers, are taking online training so they can continue to teach not only correspondence, but also in a online modality. The department has also developed a 2- and 4-year plan to monitor not only the cost of books for our students in our programs, but trying to maintain them, keep them a low number so students don't have to worry about spending $200 on a single textbook. So we want to be cautious of that. This past semester or past semesters as well, we worked with Flat World, and they've worked with us very nicely in terms of making sure that our textbooks don't exceed more than $40 and at a minimum of $25. So that's a reasonable cost for us. But we're also working with OpenStack. For some of you that don't know what that is a essentially textbooks that are OpenStack. That's what they are. It's a lot easier, a lot cheaper to work with. And it does cover a variety of different subjects within our division. So we're slowly moving in a direction that I think that over time we may look at more OpenStacks over time. The department is also very committed in working with the goals and with the strategic plan of the college, making sure that we're all aligned. We're also working very diligently to monitor with a telescope, with monitoring students with W's and F's, meaning, trying to reduce the number of W's from our program as well as students failing. We want to see more students success. The program is also very committed to working and updating all of our SLOs, making sure that the matrix is up to date, and we're updating those course outline of records. And as far as the demands of the market for these occupations in our area, we're looking at technology as one of the hot ones. Obviously, we've been hearing lately that how much thousands of computers are being provided to students, not only to correspondence, but how technology is just flying off the roof, correct? And obviously those are the hot jobs of the market. We're looking at managerial jobs, financial occupations as well growing. The department is very, very committed with strong workforce economic development plans, preparing students for the 21st century. We made a strong note of that in our reports. And then, of course, one of the last thing that I just want to mention is that the department is looking forward to having a business advisory meeting in April. I'm not sure whether the 20th or the 27th, simply because we want to make sure that there's a close, parameters of what is needed in the community, as well as that the college is providing those essential elements to supply the demands of the local businesses as well. Other than that, if you have any questions for me, I'd be delighted to answer. And I'm sorry I went past my 3-minute mark by 27 seconds.
Any questions on the business administration for transfer program? You covered a lot of bases in there. I've got 4.9 and 4.10.
Correct.
Covered. Yeah, it looks like covered to me. Questions, comments, or concerns for Mr. Martinez on 4.9 or 4.10?
Well, I have a comment. Being a student, I'm very grateful that the faculty are taking in consideration the cost of textbooks. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
All right. In that case, did you want to add anything to that for 4.11 for the social science business management, the CT review? Or did you covered a lot, Peter?
Yes, I did. I covered actually all 3 degrees, as I mentioned: the AS Business Management, Business Technology, and the Business Transfer. Business Administration for Transfer.
Yes. Okay. In that case,
I try to condense it a little bit down.
you covered basically all 4 of them, because you got the business technology review also. Okay. So we've, for the agenda, we covered 4.9, 410, 411, and 412. Do we have any questions or further comments for Mr. Martinez? Hearing none. Peter, that was a lot, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.
All right, to everybody that presented, I certainly appreciate the time and effort that was put in on this. There's a whole lot of work that went on. Please note that the board acknowledges that and thanks you for that. Moving right along to, in our agenda, to section number 5. We've got discussion this evening.
Mr. Arneson, Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
can I just say that there's someone's TV going on and it's really a distraction trying to hear these reviews. I don't know whose TV it's going on.
Okay.
Dave's light keeps coming on, so I'm thinking it's his.
Oh. Just a minute. Yeah, that's in the next room though, not this one. We're good.
All right, Dave, thank you. Stella, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, section number 5, discussion. We've got a handful, 5.1, revised board policies for administrative procedures. We're looking at board policy, administrative procedure number 2435, the evaluation of the superintendent. Board policy 2725, board member compensation. Board policy administrative procedure number 3410, non-discrimination. Board policy administrative procedure number 3420, equal employment. Administrative procedure number 3434, responding to harassment based on sex under the Title
9.
4. Under Title 9. Ooh, thank you. There goes that. Yeah, there goes that. Man, I'm sitting there looking at a V and X, a V and X. Hold on. Anyway, thank you. And then last one would be our administrative procedure 3435, discrimination, harassment, complaints, and investigations. Oh, board policy administrative procedure number 3518, child abuse reporting. Administrative procedure 3600, auxiliary organizations. And administrative procedure number 3725, information and communications technologies, accessibility, and acceptable use.
Arneson, I've got a question.
Yes.
Later, we're going to take action on the board policies in the future.
Yes.
This is a first reading.
Yes.
The APs, the administrative procedures, do we approve these? We approve board policy, that's what we do, but the AP is just the backup to it, and is that correct? And we're not approving that later?
Well, the AP is the superintendent president's working out of the board policy. So we create the operational procedures that you all implement as board policy. So the APs are here for information.
Yeah.
If at any time you were to have a question about it or concern about it, then we would go back to the drawing board with you on it and revise that. But the board does not approve APs, but certainly you have oversight over them in case you have any issues with it.
Yeah, that was what I thought. Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, do we have any discussion on any of these further than we've already read? We've got the board policy we've read, and then the administrative procedure to accompany those. I guess.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who is it that works on all of these? Because they're doing great work. I just want to say thank you.
Well, everybody gets to work on them. It depends on what the area. So if it's in the area of the budget and finance, Stephanie and her crew work on them. If it's some of the more administrative stuff, I get those. Willie and his crew would work on some of the instructional ones and so forth. But the one who really gets, in my opinion, gets the credit is Carrie Mullion, because she's the ringmaster. Somebody used that earlier, the ringmaster of the whole thing. So sometimes she has to crack the whip too, to get our stuff done. She does a really good job with it.
Thank you, Carrie.
Dr. Wallace? On Title IX, will all faculty and staff administration, will they have training on Title IX? Or is it just kind of in part of our policy? Or
So
will they?
we have a Title IX coordinator. I believe that's Irma, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know what training that we give our employees on Title IX, but any Title IX issue goes to the Title IX coordinator. It's very complicated, and I know you know that. You probably have seen some cases around Title IX in your work. But we really need a content expert on that one. If anybody knows whether we train our staff on that, I'd be happy to hear it.
No.
No. All right. Any further discussion on any of the board policies or the procedures? Okay, we'll advance on to information section of our agenda tonight, number 6, information items. 6.1, I'm sorry. Okay, we're good. 6.1, we have resignations of Lamar Arnott, Eric Atkinson, Diana Melendez, and then the retirement of Joseph Henry Rinaldi. Everyone's gone over the information in this?
Yes.
All right. 6.2, CCFS 311Q 20 to 21 second quarter report. We'll go over this.
Yes.
All right. Purchases and warrants are on 6.3. Got a chance to review. It was
Yes,
a
sir.
very heavy agenda tonight, folks. So there's a whole lot of reading. So I know we're rolling, but and then the 6.4, the cash flow analysis. As Stephanie said, our money's in right now, so we're looking good, but we're going to be spending some too. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. 6.5, training opportunities for the Board of Trustees. Very noted in there.
They're there.
Yeah. We board members just need to take advantage of them, myself very much included.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, we got a little bit out of state travel. 6.6 would be out of state travel. Everyone's noticed that we've sent we've gone to La Paz Regional Hospital a handful of times. All right. And it comes along to agenda section number 7, the consent calendar. Consent calendar is 7.1 is personnel actions for March 2021. We got Rory Chambers, Herman de la Pena, Mario Hale, Raquel Burton, Ulysses Garcia Sr., Ulysses Garcia Jr., Norma Palafox, Cynthia Luna, Armanita Lojano, Charisma, Olivia Dagnino, and Maria Lopez. Well, I had a chance to review those.
Do we ask our questions now before we vote?
Well, we're about to, no, stand by just a minute.
Okay.
All right, in that case, I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent calendar.
So move.
I've got,
John McNeil seconds the motion to approve the consent calendar.
I've got a motion and a second. Questions, comments? Stella?
I can't hear. I hear somebody else, a kid talking or something.
Okay.
Sorry, he came in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me get to that. Rory Chambers, is she a 2 or a 3?
She is a 2. And, as you know, there was some shuffling in the financial aid department. And so we pulled Herman over there to be the acting director. And then we're putting Rory up to do some of the higher level duties. So she's working out of class. In fact, she has been working out of class. This is effective retro back to August 3rd.
Okay.
So, but she is a 2. She's occupying a position 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Hale, is he our director? I know the flyer went out to bid, but did he get the job or is he still working out of classification?
Yeah, he did. He competed and was a successful candidate. So this is his appointment to the position. Raquel Burton, the same. She competed for the CDC site supervisor. The ones you see on here for COVID-19, they're basically just temporary employees. I guess we call them short-term, according to Ed Code. Just due to, they come in at some time after hours and spray the disinfectant.
Oh, we don't have our custodians do that?
They don't have time.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but we pulled these in. We're paying these out of those COVID funds. And they'll be here until we don't have to do that anymore.
Did that job go out for bid?
Those don't. Those type of short-term don't go out for bid.
Short-terms don't.
No, they're very, very temporary. CDC Cook had competed as well as the instructional aid. And so those are being appointed to they're both part-time. Let's see who else. Artemisa was the nurse for Dr. P. And we pulled her in to kind of backfill the position where we pulled Herman out of. And it's the site nursing site coordinator. She's working with our nursing clinical sites and placing nursing students and so forth. 2 more short terms for COVID, and then Maria Lopez. Basically, we have an MOU with CTA for Maria Lopez to move her to a 12-month position. This is based, and you'll see that next time. We didn't have a chance to get it on this agenda, but she was doing the DSPS coordination, and then she's now going to also take over the TRIO coordination. And the TRIO coordination requires a 12-month position. So, and the MOU, which you'll see next time, basically says she's on a 12-month schedule until such time as TRIO no longer funds. And we don't know when or if that will ever run out, but if it does, we'll put her back to the 10-month position as a counselor.
Thank you, Dr. Wallace.
You're very welcome.
Okay, is there any other discussion, questions, comments, or concern? If not, if we're back in the meeting, we've got a motion and approval. We've had a little bit of discussion, so at this time, if there's no further discussion, move on to the vote. Ms. Mullion?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
All right.
And Mr. President, I have a suggestion. If no one's going to have an issue with any of those program reviews, you might take 8.1 through 8.12 with one calling of votes, and then Carrie can ferret those out for those 12 items.
I have no problem with that. Is there any?
Yeah, I was getting ready to make I was getting ready to make a motion that we do that.
Okay. Then in that case, let's open section number 8 of our agenda tonight, and I will entertain a motion. Please.
Are you calling for a second? Did you make the motion?
I made the motion.
I'll make a
Yes.
second to that motion to accept all of those items, all 12 of those items in one vote.
Okay. Questions, comments, or concern? All right. Just for the record, let me restate our motion that the voting portion of this item
Of the action item, yes.
the action item, section number 8, include up to and including 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, 8.6, 8.7, 8.8, 8.9, 8.10, 8.11, and 8.12 are all included for approval and discussion and vote at this time, correct?
Yes, in one motion, yes.
Hearing that, any further questions or comments? Hearing none, Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
All right. Folks, thank you very much. Moving right along. Section number 9 of our agenda tonight, the action items for business 9.1, 2020 to 21 appointment adjustments. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion from Ms. Stiers and a second from
Rehnquist.
Dave Rehnquist. Questions, comments, concerns? Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
Okay, section 9.2, the real estate purchase agreement with CDC property. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Got a motion from Stella, a second, please.
Second.
Rehnquist.
A second from Dave Rehnquist. Further questions, comments, or concern? Hearing none, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
All right. 9.3 would be Blair Media Video Production Company contract for graduation.
So moved.
Entertain a motion, Ms. Stiers, thank you. A second, please. So waiting a second.
John McNeil will second that.
And a second from John McNeil. Further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
9.4 is a consultant contract for Lamar Network and Security System Specialist as a trainer. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I've got a motion from Ms. Stiers, a second, please.
Second.
And a second from Stacy. Further discussion, questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
Okay, we've got a consultant contract for Elizabeth Hilton, a technical training for our interim financial aid staff. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion from Mrs. Stiers, a second.
Second.
A second from Angel Ramirez. Any further discussion, questions, comments, concerns?
Did I miss how long we were going to have the consultant?
Through December.
Okay.
Stella, what was that?
The date, how long we're going to have her?
So this contract, let me click on that again, is through, I believe, June 30th, but it's on an hourly basis. And she is one of the top experts in California for financial aid.
That's great.
She's charging us a little bit more, but we're only going to pay her for the hours that we're using her. So anyway, but anyway, I think the contract, if I recall, is through June 30th. It might be through the end of December. Let me look at it right quick.
It is December 2021.
Okay, so it's through December of this year, right?
Okay,
Yes.
got it. And that's going to help the transition for the Herman to come in, right?
It's for Herman and also
And
for
all
the
the-
staff, because they really need to get up to the latest sort of way of doing it.
Okay.
What Herman has inherited a paper-based system, and there are much better ways of doing that nowadays.
Okay, I agree. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Williams?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
9.6, the contract agreement with Oxalot AI Enrollment Management. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Got a motion from Mrs. Stiers and the second
Second.
from Mr. Rehnquist or Angel? Who was that? I missed
That
it.
was,
it was
that
Mr.
was
Ramirez.
Angel.
It was Dave. Okay. Angel, sorry about that. I missed the flash on the screen. Anyway, questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
All right, 9.7 is a cooperative agreement, number 20, Puente CC 69 Puente project.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion from, is that Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
From Dr. Thomas, and a second, please.
Second.
Second from Stacy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
All right. Action items, personnel, MOU with PVCFA, additional compensation for the CT faculty 2021 through 2022. I'll entertain a motion.
So
John
moved.
McNeil will move it.
I've got a motion from Mr. McNeil. A second, please.
Second.
I've got a second from Major Ramirez. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
10.2, a counselor job description revision. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Got a motion from Dr. Thomas. A second, please.
I'll
Second.
second.
A second from Ms. Davis from Stacy. Any further discussion, questions, comments, or concerns?
If anyone can answer what all was revised. Do we know that? The whole,
It was pretty outdated, Stella.
Uh-huh.
And, it had programs that we don't use anymore. It was cleaned up. The duties, they're basically the same, but whatever it was outdated, we removed because we don't have those programs anymore.
okay, and the qualifications and,
The qualifications, and we
Same.
follow what Chancellor's office asked us to do.
thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, any further questions or comments, concerns? Hearing none, Ms. Mullion?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
Brings us down to section 11 of our agenda tonight, action items miscellaneous. 11.1, the California Community College Trustee Board elections.
I would have to ask Carrie on a point of order here because normally I take time to research this and make a recommendation to you, but I failed to do that this time. My one question would be, is this something that we have to do? And if we do have to do it, does it have to be done tonight? Because I failed to do the research on this list, and I don't know if anybody, since we haven't been meeting, in person with these groups, it's kind of hard. Sometimes you meet people and you say, hey, I'd like for that person to be the trustee on the state board, but other than the incumbent, there's only one incumbent this time.
Only one.
And there's 7 positions open. I wouldn't be able to make a recommendation to you tonight. So Carrie, does this have to be done, first of all? And then secondly, could we do it next time? Or is that going to be too late?
and the answer is no, it does not have to be done. And yes, we can bring this back. We can table it and bring it back to the April agenda. I believe the deadline to get our nominations in is April 25th. So we have time to do this at the next meeting if
Good.
the board chooses.
Well, unless somebody
table.
did the research and wants to do it, let's do that. Put it off to next time.
Move we table it.
All right. We have a motion to table it from Dr. Thomas.
Got a
I'll
motion,
second that.
Second.
got a motion to table from Dr. Thomas, a second from John McNeil. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, the motion to table, Ms. Mullion?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Dean.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, brings us down to section number 12, hearing of citizens on non-agenda items. Do we have any?
No, we don't.
All right, hearing none. Closed session, I didn't see anything.
There is something I want to update you on. It's under 13.2 and
Okay,
but there'll be no report out, so we can adjourn to closed session.
in that case, we'll adjourn to closed session. Y'all, thank you very much for all the hard work and a lot of patience with everybody today. We had man, it's a long, busy agenda and a lot of presentations. It was all good stuff. So thank you, and we'll see everybody in closed session.
Uh-oh. Oh, there I am. So do we leave this one and then go to another one?
I think we're going to be moved, if I'm not mistaken. How does that
That's
work, Gary?
correct. Matt Pryor will move you into a breakout room.
Okay.
He's teleporting us.
Essentially, yes.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Carrie.
Good night, Carrie.
Good night.